Cool. All right, we're all set. Good morning, everyone. This topic we're excited to talk about. We had a great trip down there to Tysons Corner, and Mike is always fun to go down, listen to, and get recharged. And then ultimately, we always sit down, at least as a team, and talk about what we take away from those events. And it's cool that we'll be able to get to do that with everyone here this morning. To kick it off, I will just kind of go through the two takeaways that I had down from the event. And the first is kind of the market overview that he gave right in the beginning. It went hand in hand with what I kind of sent out the last time I pulled market stats for everybody last month. We're starting to see now that inventory is starting to grow. Days on market are starting to increase for the first time since like 12 or 15 months ago. Prices are beginning to flatten out, and we're starting to kind of crest and return to almost a normal market. You know, with that being the case, he did say that we're going to have a great next 6 months. It's still going to be a very good time to list and sell. With that in mind, you know, I think it's very important. The quote he said that market factors never negatively affect a person whose production they schedule. You know, regardless of what the situation is, if you schedule the activities that produce sales and generate business for you, it doesn't matter what the market's like, you're still going to be successful. My next takeaway was how others think doesn't affect your business or life, how you think affects your business and life. And I took this two different ways. First off, I spend a lot of time, you know, sometimes thinking about how others, you know, think about me or how they think about what I do in their interpretations. And he said that you have to think less about that, just continue to always do your best, and that's all you can really do. Don't worry about what others think. Really, all that matters is what you think about yourself. So obviously think positively about yourself, and you'll have a positive outcome. In addition, I also took that another way too, and fill your life with positivity. A couple other points, you know, eliminate distractions in your life, remove negativity by either, you know, we're constantly filled with negative situations on a daily basis, whether it's the news, engaging in social media. There's plenty of posts out there that, you know, are stimulating in a negative manner, and removing yourself from those just gives you a more positive outlook on life. So fill your day, you know, stick to a schedule, fill your day with positive stuff like writing down daily affirmations, positive podcasts, books, and surrounding yourself with other positive people. And it's really going to benefit you in the long run. Mike, every day, you know, he brings this up multiple times throughout the event. He always says, I wake up in the morning and I say, this is the best audience I've ever had. Just a simple little, you know, mind trick is, it can go a long way. So every morning, you know, you wake up, say, this is going to be the best day I've ever had. You know, it gets you in a more positive mindset.
How about Kathy? What kind of takeaways did you have from the event? That was your second time ever going to one of those events.
That was. I think something that Dad always says, and Brooks just reaffirmed that, is you need to surround yourself with the positive people who make you better, not people that bring you down. For the most part, I feel like I'm a pretty upbeat person, but it just, going to one of those events brings you back energized, recharged, focused in the right direction. He also talked about the scripts, and that's one of the things that I've not, in the first 2.5 years here, buckled down to learn. I think we now have a group and we're role playing each Thursday. And I do think that'll be beneficial, especially for me getting in those situations and being able to handle the objections.
Okay, so good. The role playing is a big takeaway
Right.
from there, that to learn
For
the
me.
scripts and not just learn them, but internalize them.
Right.
It becomes part of your conversation, you know, when you're meeting with a customer.
Right.
You know, I wasn't there, unfortunately, this time, but you know, as Brooks was talking about a little bit, one of the most important things that Mike typically says, and if Brooks tilts his head to the left or to the right, you'll see the sign that's behind his head that says, "What would Mike say or do?" Well, that's about Mike Ferry. You've probably never noticed that sign behind his head before, but that's what it is. So, you know, Mike used to say, if you were following him and you had a big picture of him sitting in front of you, what would your morning look like? You know, would you hire you? Do you make it a point first thing in the morning? Like, we're all fresh, we all feel good. By the end of the day, at least me, I'm beat, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm worn out. You know, so the best time to do your morning prospecting or your marketing time or your opportunity time or whatever you want to call it, that makes you feel good about getting leads, is to do it first thing in the morning, and it becomes an appointment. So if you had a doctor's appointment tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, you would make it. So if you have a prospecting appointment tomorrow at 9 o'clock, make it. So if somebody calls up and says, "Hey, I want to see this house," I'm sorry, I'm not available at that time. Would 11 or 12 work better? You know, because that marketing time is the most important thing that's going to keep your business growing upwards and not have the peaks and valleys and that type of thing. So, you know, the morning schedule is important. Kathy, learning and internalizing those scripts are important. How about Paul and Sue? What did you guys, what's one little nugget that you might have walked away from that seminar saying, "Oh, you know what, I knew we'd need to do that, but why aren't we doing that?" So what's one thing that you guys took away from that seminar?
Okay.
There we go.
I really liked it when he said that a great presenter speaks with conviction and authority. Believe in yourself. And then he talked about particularly in this.
Oh my God.
Particularly in this market, when houses are selling like in the next 3 hours, when a seller says, I don't really think that you're worth your commission because anybody can sell a house now. And the thing that he said was, if I can sell your property in 3 days, it took me 20 years to prepare to do so. I really liked that.
Mm-hmm.
And he also said to call your clients every Friday between 2 and 5 and stay in communication with them so that they look forward to hearing from you on Fridays between 2 and 5. Because I think too often we get too busy and we don't communicate enough.
And that's great information. I mean, in a different type of market, when listings weren't selling, it was very hard for agents to call their clients on Friday between 2 and 5 because they were scared to say, "Well, we haven't had any showings this week," or "We haven't had any action this week." But in the markets that we're in right now, if you do those calls, like you're saying, Paula, between 2 and 5, it's a lot easier because most likely if you put their listing up for sale, it's under contract, and then you're just following up with them with the details and you're doing your job. You're showing them that you're on top of the details, that yes, the appraiser's coming next week, the home inspections, we're through those. You're giving them an update and letting them know exactly what's going on. And the more you do that, the better your customer service is to your client. And if you provide great customer service, you're going to get more business because people are going to refer you because they like that communication. So that's a really good one. Thank you for bringing that up. How about Brent? Let's go to Brent. What's a takeaway you have? I mean, obviously, it must have been a good seminar for you because you and Andrew have signed up for the coaching. So tell us a little bit about what the takeaway was for you and what's motivating you to dig in a little bit deeper.
Yeah, so I have two of them, and one of them kind of piggybacks on Brooks about surrounding yourself with positive people. But one of the things that hit home for me was he quoted and he said, "Develop a big thirst for self-improvement. It is the fastest way to personal and business growth." And to me, that hit home big, because if we stay hungry or if we stay thirsty for self-improvement to improve ourselves, it's going to do nothing but help me personally and in business. So that really, to me, I really like that, and it made me put a lot of question marks up in here. So I like that.
Can you repeat that again? Say that saying, what was it?
It said, "Develop a big thirst for self-improvement. It is the fastest way to personal and business growth."
Yep. And it's funny that you brought that up because, you know, after the seminar, you went to an event and you and I talked about how surrounding yourselves with positive people and people that want to grow. I mean, we talked about that because you saw firsthand at that event how negative people are and how they're not growing in their life. Yet you just came from that event, and it shows you where you were and shows you how far you've come. So that's a huge improvement for you. Yep.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
very much so. The second thing that hit home to me was, and again, I think you mentioned it, Tim, about, you know, if I would have somebody sitting right behind me, or like where Andrew is, all day long, and if they would be evaluating what I do from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., how productive am I? I mean, if I'd have to pay me for my job, for my work, Monday through Friday or whenever it is, am I being productive? So it's all about that. Wow, if I think somebody is looking over my shoulder, am I on my phone, on Facebook? Am I checking whatever? So it's all about doing the right things and making yourself grow. So those are the two big things that hit home to me.
Good. Andrew, how about you? That was your first Mike Ferry event. You're a fairly new agent as of a month or two ago. What takeaway, at least just one, that did you have from that seminar that's going to make you make some changes to become a successful agent?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things I took away from that was just finding work. When I was previous job I was in the military, we always talk about finding work. Don't stay stagnant. Find work. If you're not doing something, find work. So finding work, staying busy, and practice. You know, for me as a new agent, new to this business, just constantly bettering myself because I got a lot of work to do, got a lot of room to grow. So just continually honing my skills, practicing, and you put the work in, and the results will be there.
Okay. And Dave White, you were at the seminar. You're involved in coaching. You've been to many of these events now in over your career. What was a takeaway that you had from this event?
Being to some of the other events, I will tell you this, that a lot of the information is the same. Nevertheless, for me, the timing was just really perfect because it's, you know, this was a great year, and it was a great year for me. And I have to attribute that to, well, not only the market just really helped a lot. But I will tell you, the timing of this helped me to re-examine what I've done, evaluate what I want to do, and work on setting up a business plan for the next year, the rest of the months that we have left of 2021, and just make it a exceptional 2022. So Patty and I just are, you know, we're over the next couple of weeks, we'll be working on that and putting that together to implement a lot of the, well, improving skills, improving our positive attitudes and things like that. So it was a great event.
I'm glad you brought up what you did in the beginning, because first of all, my dad and I have attended these events for over 20 years now. And like you said, a lot of times the message is the same. The difference is where your life is at the time that you attend the event, because your life is in a different position than it was 20 years ago. My life is different today than it was 20 years ago when I listened to the message. So every year that you go and your life changes, even though the message is similar, the takeaways that you have are different because your life changes. And my dad and I experienced that for years, going to the Mike Ferry thing. And like I did when I hit my head and said, I mean, we sat there for years looking at ourselves saying, why aren't we doing that? You know, we knew we were supposed to do that. Why aren't we doing that? But our life is, every time you go, it's different. And I think the setting for this event that you went to was different too. You know, when we all used to go to the superstar retreats and the production retreats, you know, there were anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000 people at those events. And at this event, there was probably 300 or 400 people at the event. So the closeness to Mike and the closeness to the message is received a lot differently than when you're in those big, huge events. And so thank you for bringing that up. How about Kyra or Emily? Anything you girls, the Stacy Malak group, you got the whole, is Stacy there with you too, or?
Oh, she's not. Okay. So Stacy's mom is in town and she was spending time with her. So that's where she's at.
Okay. Anything you guys took away?
Yeah, so I took away right from the get-go, just like Brooks said, the review of what's going to happen and what is happening with the market, and that we have a good 6 months, you know, coming still. A lot of people ask me that, you know, when's the crash? When's the crash? When are you know, are you going to be an agent next year? All of those things are like surrounding us. And I felt a lot like Mike said, like what he was saying about, we still have this more or less like I don't even know what to say, like the next 6 months is still going to be productive if you want it to be. And I loved that, because that's how I felt. I have always felt like, why could it not be good if you want it? If you're not going to try and you're not going to put in the effort, of course it's not going to be good. Your business is not going to grow. So when people have come to me this year and have said, well, it must be easy to be in real estate. And I have said, well, yeah, I've shown up every day and I've done the same things, talked to the same people, and had a routine and a schedule, and I kept to it. And, you know, I've been able to succeed and have a lot of growth this year. And then to have the negative people come in and say, oh, what about the crash? When's it going to crash? And I've had enough knowledge to know to compare this time frame with like 2009 and tell people that. And then to hear someone like Mike Ferry confirm what I have said and what I've thought was amazing to me. I was like, okay, I know what I'm talking about. You know, I felt like that was like affirmation for me. And it was very comforting to know, like, it built my own confidence. And then when I first came on a year ago, Gene sat down with Stacy and I, and we talked about creating a schedule and sticking to a schedule. And it goes back to him, the small things of like, this is the best audience that you've ever had. Saying those things to yourself, this is going to be a great day. I am going to get this listing. I'm going to find these people the best house for them. Saying those things to myself all year long has really worked. And again, to hear him say those things, and he's such, you know, he's on this platform and I'm down here. It's, again, affirmation that if you do those things, if you believe in yourself and you take the small steps, by all means, your life is going to be good. Your business is going to be great. You're going to have the confidence you need. And I just loved hearing that as confirmation.
Good. Kyra, this was your first event. I know you have been in the insurance business before. What did you take away from this event?
Yeah,
'Cause
so,
you're having a phenomenal year. Congratulations.
oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
I think my biggest takeaway plays on practice, and also what you said, Tim, about you know, the event affects you differently based on your life situation. So I coach a girls 12 and under softball team, and we practice 3 days a week. And I tell them constantly over and over and over again how important practice is and how important it is to work hard, so that when we get to the game, it feels easy because we've done it all before and we've done it harder. And so I'm sitting there listening to Mike talk about practice, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I literally preach this 3 times a week and I don't practice myself. Mm-hmm. I show up to a game or a listing appointment or whatever, and I'm basically, you know, doing the best I can, but I have not practiced. My only practice is like game situation. And so that just really was a big takeaway for me, because it put it completely into perspective of what I literally preach to these girls, and I don't do myself in my own business. So it all kind of came together at that moment. So it was good.
So how are you going to put it into your schedule now to do that? Like, I think you heard Kathy talk a little bit about they're going to do that on Thursdays. And I think, Kathy, that's with Keith LaPrairie and who else?
Tim and
I believe Joe Schutz is coming in,
right,
and Steve Kunkel and Tim Lagercio. So we've
Okay.
got a crew.
Okay. And then Kong, the guys are practicing what, in the mornings with Jim Penny and Tim and Coach, or Mike? You know, people don't know my Coach, Mike. But how are you guys doing that through Zoom, Coach, or how are you doing that?
No, well, Mike is in Philly, so he'll do it through the phone. And again, if anybody has leads in the Philadelphia area, we do have a Philadelphia agent, Michael Kopiak, who can help you with that. But they do practice in the mornings, typically 3 times a week. And they do it in person, at least Jim and Tim do. And then Mike will call in as well.
Okay.
And I encourage everybody to join them too, you know, whether it's through phone or in person.
Kong, what was a takeaway that you have? And then we'll go back to Sharon.
Sure. Couple of things that he had mentioned. He talked a good bit about the presentation. And one of the things I got out of it is a point he made about a great presenter speaks with conviction and authority. Believe in yourself. And he didn't do a lot of objection handling, obviously, because he wants you to sign up for coaching to do that. But he did give one good objection about the commission. And he said, you are paying for my 15 years of experience to sell your home for the most money in 3 days. That was his objection handler to the commission question, other than his typical no. But I thought that was really good, because you're giving authority to your client and giving yourself worth while doing that. So I thought that was a really good line that I think I will use in the future. The other two things I took away, again, the schedule is key. Seems like every time I go to these events, I come back and, now I'm back on my schedule, and it just reiterates how important that is to stick to it no matter what. And then the other thing he brought up as well is a business plan. And we are now in basically the fourth quarter. Now's the time to start your business plan for 2022. What do you want to do? How much money do you want to make? What will it take for you to get there? So I think that's a really important point that he brought up, was the business plan as well. And I know Tim and Jean are always offering to meet up with you and go over these plans. So if it's something that you're interested in, I'm sure they'll sit down with you and go over your business plan.
And that is something we're actually going to probably send out next week, because it would be, we'd have October, November. Well, we're in October now, but November and December. So we got to start working on the 2022 business plan. But so, thank you for bringing that up, and we will send that out. Sharon, how about you? Did you have a takeaway from the event?
Yes, mine have already been mentioned, I think, by Brooks, but I spent 20 years in the insurance industry where I was on a schedule. And it was easy when I came here to be like, I don't have to get up at 5. I can get up at 6, which became 6:30, which became 6:45. And since the event, we were getting up at 5 for the event. I've just stayed on that routine. And I think that really has helped me to get more efficient with my day, and just to get a better start and get that structure and routine in my day. Along with that is the belief in yourself, and the outside voices that we hear from social media or other people can really be a mind, whatever you want to call it. And so I have really just started trying to ignore some of the outside voices and believe in myself again, trying to instill those belief in me. Along with that routine though, I agree that it's not just the work, it's also the personal. So I've gotten back to trying to exercise, be healthier, because I think all of those play a role in how confident we feel about ourselves.
Good. So those are great takeaways. And I like how you brought that up about your mind. In fact, 20 years ago, Mike Ferry and his son, Matthew Ferry, used to bring that up and call it the drunk monkey. So, if you can picture a drunk monkey, how crazy a monkey is, and then to have one drunk and that to be in your mind, a drunk monkey can throw you completely off track for your day if something happens. So when we talk about how important the morning schedule is and how important it is to do that marketing and prospecting time, what's important about that is to not answer your cell phone when that happens, to not text people or read messages while that's happening, because as soon as one bad thing happens, that you read a message that a client's upset at something or something's happened, that drunk monkey or that your mind goes off, and then you can't concentrate, and you are not going to be effective with your morning prospecting time, which is the most important thing that there is. Joe Schutz, I know you've attended a lot of Brian Buffini events in the past, and I'm not sure if this was your first Mike Ferry one or not, but what was a takeaway that you had from it, and did you enjoy it, the seminar?
This was my first Mike Ferry event. I found it to be completely different, but I have knowledge of Mike Ferry through my coaching sessions with Jean. And one of the, I got a lot of good things out of it. Some of the things Jean had been working on already, but was reiterated during the seminar, like affirmations. That's something I never did. Believe, saying those things to yourself over and over has such a positive effect your mindset, mindset in general. Staying on schedule, creating the schedule, and making the schedule ironclad. Like, this during prospecting time, I'm not going to be derailed. I'm not going to, as you say, Tim, the drunk monkey. Like, if somebody called me up and wants to look at a house, well, I can't do it between 10 and 12 because that's prospecting time. Making sure that those times are always going to be used for prospecting and not having somebody derail you. Eliminating distractions. I am easily distracted. The other thing is like his whole philosophy was fishing where the fish are, the expireds, the FSBOs. He was saying, 60% of your business should come from that. Whereas, with Buffini, that's flip-flopped. You get 60, 70% of your business from referrals and the 30% from, if you do FSBOs or whatever, whatever the other lead generation source is. I mean, Ferry's whole philosophy is like, if you're not ready to buy or sell in the next 10 days, you're not really a prospect. You're, a time waster. And to really qualify people to find out how serious they are about wanting to do business. And the other thing is like the next 6 months are very important, because after the next 6 months, who knows what's going to happen with the market. So if now's the vine is still ripe with fruit to pluck and get those deals done in the next 6 months, with interest rates being the way they are, and going after those for sale by owners. So I mean, it was an eye-opening event. I mean, it was I enjoyed it. I would go to another one, and I got a lot of good information.
Good. And I like some of the stuff that you brought up, and talking with Gene about the affirmations and that. And I can tell you, I know you're a competitive person. Hell, you and Paul Noggle and I used to play tennis at Sun and Splash when you were like 15 and 16 years old. But, when my dad and I started going to these seminars, and we'd pump ourselves up, because to me, being in the real estate business, we start every day at zero, and every day is a new game. So it's a new match. It's a new football game. It's a new tennis match. And you're getting in the car and you're driving to that listing appointment. And before you get out of the car, you say to yourself some affirmations. They could be as simple as, I'm going to take this listing. I'm going to take this listing. I'm going to take this listing. And you pump yourself up. And then you say yes, and you open up that door and you get out and you knock on the door, and you are in a pumped up mood, ready to take that listing. It's a competition. Not all these listing appointments are, like you said, past customers and centers of influence. If you're fishing where the fish are, some of these appointments are expired listings and FSBOs. Expired listings, they've already had a bad experience with an agent, and FSBOs, they think they can do it themselves. So if you positively put those affirmations into your head and pump yourself up before you go on those appointments, then you're going to be successful. So if we go to my dad, Tom Ferry used to give us that affirmation before you would start your prospecting calls. What is it? I'm fearless, I'm powerful, I'm unstoppable. Right. Yes, and then pick up the phone and dial.
Yep, they're great affirmations, and everybody in this call has touched on the most important thing that you're going to find about our career and our business, and that is your mindset. When you have a mindset that you're going to win, when you have the mindset that nobody can stop you, you're unstoppable. When you have the mindset that you're determined every day that you're going to go to work, you're going to give it the best day that you can give it. These things
or what makes you believe. I'm going to give you 2 examples of mindset. When Tim and I started this company, what date did we start, Tim? 206, right?
March 1st of 2006.
Okay, we started March 6th of 2006. Anyways, during that time, we had pretty good selling. Okay, all of a sudden 207 comes, and then 208 comes. And guess what? Because of our mindset, everybody was going down. We were going up. We built this company from nothing. 4 people. We walked into 5,000 square feet, paid for it. We furnished it, and we said, we will recruit the people and make this a viable company. We did that in the worst market that you could possibly have. You talk about believing in yourself and having the confidence that you can do something. We did that. Another example of that is Mike Ferry said to us 1 December. Everybody takes off in December. They take off before it. Come Thanksgiving, everybody stops working. They said, how many of you people in this room can have the best December you ever had? And Tim and I looked at each other and we said, that's going to be us. Tell them how many we did, Tim.
In fact, John Hogan was on the team at that point in time, and a lot of people on our team back then, when we were at the other Remax office, were always saying to take off. Nobody could do any business. And between December 15th and December 30th, we sold 15 houses that month on that year, because we were bound and determined. We had the inventory that we were going to make it happen and have the best December ever.
So you see, it really isn't about market conditions. It really isn't about interest rates. It's all about you. Emily hit it on the head when she said you have to believe in yourself. You have to have that confidence. When you go into somebody and you can say to them at a presentation, hey, thanks for having me over. Man, I'm excited about getting your home on the market and getting it sold. I'd like to take a look around. You sit here. I come back and you say to them, hey, I wrote down 3 real important questions. Number 1, do you absolutely have to sell this house? And number 2, will you price the home to sell? And number 3, do you guys want me to handle the sale for you? When you can be that comfortable with your presentation, you're going to win. That's what it's all about, self-confidence. Tim?
So, is there anything else anybody, Mike, do you have anything different that you want to say, or John Hogan, about takeaways from it? We've pretty much gone over a lot of it. Is there anything that's special that you liked about that seminar, Mike?
Yeah, I know we talked about there was 13 thoughts to become a top producer, and most of them were touched upon about always staying hungry and staying prepared. Practice your role playing, and develop a big thirst for self-improvement. But I just wanted to talk about like the basics. Some of those other 13 thoughts. Strive for customer service excellence. Listen was, Mike Ferry really stressed that, listen to our customers, and provide excitement, and, always tell the truth. Also ask questions, who, what, why, where, how. He also said to, and like it was already discussed, be genuine, be true to yourself. Also put your best foot forward every day. If the same routine is working for you every day, stick with it. Never compromise your integrity. You have to be the authority, and keep things in perspective, and to delegate, trust trust the title company. Don't try to take on too much. Trust the title company, trust the lender, trust the home inspector, etc.
Yep. Good.
And also, and this is the big one. He says you have to remain positive at least 51% of the time. I kind of like that. I like that one. Yeah. Be positive during prospecting and presenting, and watch your mindset every day.
Yep. Good. How about John Hogan? Anything that you want to add to the conversation this morning as far as a takeaway? I think you've been to some of these events before.
Yeah, I liked what Dave White said, just about it was perfect timing for the event. I thought it was perfect timing just coming into the fourth quarter. Just a reminder to stay on track and keep a schedule. We all get sidetracked by, pending transactions, and it prevents us from, doing the things that we need to do to stay on top of things. So just a reminder to just stick to the schedule and make time for the schedule. But yeah, it was a great event. It was good timing for it.
Yep. And last, how about Morgan from in the Kara Schaefer group? What did you have any takeaways from this event? I know you're having a fantastic year also, and congratulations. You need to unmute and let us know. There you go. If there's anything that you want to add to it that you took away from that event, the experience that you had.
Yeah, I actually didn't attend the event physically. There's some other things going on in my life, but I did read through everyone else's notes from the event. And I think that it is important, like you guys said, to use the scripts. I have called on a few FSBOs, and I actually got 2 listings from FSBOs. So I followed the scripts and I just made myself sound confident. I also believe in positivity, and I would honestly, I told Belinda, I was like, I'm going to get this listing. Like I'm going to get it. I know that this house may not be like the best house out there, but I just kept saying over and over, I'm going to get this listing. I'm going to get it. And so I definitely believe in staying positive. I always say, like, ask, believe, receive. So you have to ask for what you want, believe that you're going to get it, and then it will come to you. And I'm a true believer of, like, honestly, just do your best, but your best is going to change every day. So my best today may not be as good as I could do yesterday, but at the end of the day, I know that I put as much effort, as I could into getting it and keeping it. And so I would say that definitely the scripts helped me, because it helped me be confident in what to say when I was on the phone with those people.
So I love hearing what you're having to say. Can you tell me how you feel about yourself for 2021? Because you have really turned it on in the last 6 months. Again, congratulations. What's your mindset for real estate right now? You got this, right?
Yeah.
This is your niche. You figured this out. This is you.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, the biggest thing for me is I don't compare myself to anyone else. Like, I don't know what anyone else's numbers are. I don't really care, honestly, what their numbers are. I think they don't pay my bills. Other agents don't pay my bills. They're not the ones that have to answer to me. So it's like, I don't care what XYZ real estate company is doing or how many houses they've sold. I'm just focused on what I'm doing. Am I selling enough? And actually, an old customer of mine at a car dealership where I previously worked, he's a real estate agent up in the Poconos. And before I left, I told him where I was going, what I was doing. And he said, always strive to have 5 under contract at all times and 2 closings a month. And for whatever reason, I've just kept doing that. And that's what I strive to. As soon as I close one, I want another one, because I always want 5 up on my board at one time. And like, maybe eventually when I get better and like I'm more into this, then I'll change that number for 5 to like, I want 7 under contract at one time or whatever. So I just try to always focus on that. And I don't really focus on the transaction number either. Like, I don't care if it's a $50,000 trailer or if it's a house. To me, it's just, well, that's another one on the board. So, like, even land, I have one right now that's like a $20,000 lot, but I was like, I don't care. That's 5 under contract. I want to keep going. So I think just not comparing myself. Like, I I don't know what anyone else does, and I'm okay with, I don't want to know, I just want to know what I'm doing.
Good. That's a great attitude, great mindset. Good. How about you, Belinda? Were you at the seminar? I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
wasn't
I was there. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm
Did
pretty
you have a
new to all
takeaway?
this too.
What's that?
I said I'm pretty new to all of this too. Like I
Right.
didn't come full, on full until September 1st. So, but I'm learning a lot, and I think the most difficult part of it, I was in insurance for 15 years too. So like Sharon, it was that schedule where we just knew what we were doing every day, and it was just easy. So with this, I think it's just more building confidence in it. And the one thing I really liked was one of the quotes: "The success is going from failure to failure with a smile and lots of enthusiasm." Well, I have lots of enthusiasm. And the other thing was start doing things that make you feel uncomfortable. So I've started just going to different places in the community and just striking up conversations with people. And, do you mind if I give you my business card? And then just follow up with those people. And doing the 5 cards every day has helped. And my team has been amazing at helping me too. So I'm excited. I've had 2 closings. I have a couple other, I have another one that's under contract. So I'm excited about that. And if I can just keep growing and learning, I love this business. It's a lot of fun.
Sounds good. Thank you. Again, we always say contacts equal contracts, so make lots of contacts. You guys, this was amazing. I'm glad to hear so many people had such good takeaways from this event. I'm sorry I couldn't make it. I wish I would have been there, but you guys got to experience the best of Mike. I forget who it was, whether it was Kong or Brooks. One of you said to me, he just keeps getting better. And I'm not sure which one it was that said it to me, but you guys had a great experience. So Brooks, what's the next subject coming up next week?
I don't have the next one out yet, but we'll definitely put something out for next week. We will be having one, and I'll get that out later this week.
Yep. Poppy, any closing remarks before we say goodbye?
Well, I pretty much said what I had to say during the situation. I am so proud of all of you for really taking Mike's message to heart. Look, all the messages from these coaches are good. The difference is you have to have the accountability to yourself. Mike teaches that. He teaches us to say to ourselves, am I going to be the very best that I can be today? Am I going to beat yesterday? And I love what one of you said about, it's about you. It's not a competition about other people. You be the best that you can be every day and grow every day. If you learn something new every day, you're going to win this game. And it's all about consistency. Have a great, great week, what's left of it. And we're going to really make this company home. Thanks for your participation.
Yep, and we'll get that business plan out to you guys shortly to start working on. If you have any questions with us about it, let us know. We'd be happy to sit down with you one-on-one to go over next year's goals. So Brooks, thank you again for the topic, and we'll see you next week. Yep, thanks.
See you guys.